the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Tuesday, 9th April 2019. Also here to present the regional news this evening is Miss Anika Ferguson. In our lead stories, nationally, Prime Minister Harris holds bilateral meetings with foreign diplomats. And Nivision students receive Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine scholarships. Regionally, acting Haiti Prime Minister tapped for permanent post, country's third in 2 years. Internationally, President Donald Trump threatening to impose tariffs on EU goods. And in sports, strong fourth quarter propels Lakers past Jazz 113 to 109. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris held several rounds of discussion with foreign diplomats who are in the Federation to participate in activities for Diplomatic Week 2019. The 2019 Diplomatic Week, which runs from April 7th to 12th, is observed under the theme Securing a Resilient Future Through Effective Diplomacy and Strategic Dialogue. Held every 3 years, Diplomatic Week provides an opportunity for the government to express its appreciation to its diplomatic and consular corps who represent and safeguard the interests of the Twin Island Federation at the highest levels locally and internationally. The Prime Minister's schedule commenced with a visit by the High Commissioner of the Republic of South Africa to St. Kitts and Nevis, Her Excellency Lumka Eugenie, who presented her copy letters of credentials to Prime Minister Harris. Dr. Harris then held discussions with the United States Ambassador to Barbados and the OECS, Her Excellency Linda S. Taglialatella. This was followed by courtesy calls by Ambassador of Israel, His Excellency Danny Biran, Ambassador of the Austrian Embassy in Cuba, His Excellency Stefan Wingdinger, His Excellency Kama Imnadsi, Ambassador of Georgia, and His Excellency Nguyen Trong Than, Ambassador of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Prime Minister Harris was supported in the meetings by Cabinet Secretary Mrs. Josephine Huggins and Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Skerritt. 2 students of the Nevis Sixth Form College are among a group of 10 students who have been inducted into the Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine Scholarship Program. Azel Williams and Asher Stapleton received their awards during a ceremony at the university's campus on Saturday, April 6, 2019. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs Dr. Robert Gilbert, while addressing the gathering, said the university was committed to enhancing education opportunities.
We believe in education. We see education as a major tool, perhaps the major tool, that enables young people to achieve social mobility, happiness, and prosperity. Therefore, we are very pleased that one of our contributions to this community is to enable young people to further their education.
Minister of Education Honorable Sean Richards praised Ross University for its continued support in enhancing the education sector.
Over the last year or so, Ross has been assisting the Ministry of Education with IT labs at all of our primary schools here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. As a matter of fact, I think it's on the 7th of May, we actually have an opening ceremony for some of those IT labs.
Students receive funding towards tuition, books, uniform, among other things associated with completing studies at their institution. Students are also required to complete a 6-week paid internship during the summer at Ross University. This is the second year of the scholarship program. High Commissioner of the Republic of South Africa to St. Kitts and Nevis, Her Excellency Lumka Yenjeni, presented her credentials to the country's Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. This comes as the High Commissioner paid a courtesy call at the office of the Prime Minister on Monday, April 8th. High Commissioner Yenjeni, in presenting her credentials to Dr. Harris, thanked the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for its support in a number of areas. Prime Minister Harris told the visiting High Commissioner that his government is appreciative of the South African government's efforts to deepen bilateral cooperation with St. Kitts and Nevis. High Commissioner Yenjeni is one of many foreign dignitaries who is visiting St. Kitts and Nevis to participate in the activities planned for Diplomatic Week 2019. She was also one of 6 visiting diplomats who paid courtesy calls on Prime Minister Harris on Monday. Still in national news.
Since our last observance of Diplomatic Week in March of 2016, our records reflect that we have established diplomatic relations with 31 countries. In most cases, our embassies and our missions have played a vital role in assisting our government to fulfill its objective of increasing its diplomatic footprint as we engage our development partners on a daily basis.
St. Kitts and Nevis Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Mark Brantley. Minister Brantley was speaking at the opening ceremony of the 2019 edition of St. Kitts and Nevis's Diplomatic Week on Tuesday, April 9th at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. Diplomatic Week is being celebrated under the theme, Securing a Resilient Future Through Strategic Diplomacy and Effective Dialogue. Minister Brantley noted that since the last edition of Diplomatic Week, much has been achieved.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I have the privilege to lead, is pleased to welcome you, our diplomats and consular officers, our development partners, and most of whom are present, from a cadre of countries with whom we have established diplomatic relations. Other specially invited guests, of course, we welcome you to this week of activities. We hope that you will take advantage of the numerous opportunities for building new partnerships and strengthen areas where those partnerships currently exist.
The opening ceremony was attended by His Excellency the Governor-General, Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, members of Parliament and Cabinet, permanent secretaries, heads of departments, other government officials, specially invited guests, and the media. The 2019 edition of Diplomatic Week runs from Sunday, April 7th to Friday, April 12th, securing a resilient future St. Kitts and Nevis and public-private partnership to secure a resilient future are among topics expected to be discussed over the course of the week. In more national news.
Every year, Restaurant Week activities surround a key theme, local ingredient. We work with our farmers and agro-processors to stimulate local production of that ingredient and innovative products featuring that ingredient. And restaurants participating in Restaurant Week design their Restaurant Week menus focusing on that special ingredient. In 2015, the theme ingredient was local breadfruit. In 2016, the theme of Restaurant Week was local pumpkin. 2017, the theme was local yam. And last year, we had plantain. We have certainly seen some exciting, amazingly creative dishes and cocktails using these local ingredients. And now we are pleased to announce that this year's local theme ingredient for the 2019 St. Kitts and Nevis Restaurant Week is coconut.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. John Hanley. Mr. Hanley made that announcement on Thursday, 28 March 2019 at the opening ceremony of the 25th Annual Agricultural Open Day. Restaurant Week, which is now into its 5th year, will be held from July 18th to the 28th, 2019 here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Prior to making this announcement, Mr. Hanley noted that the aim of Restaurant Week is to promote healthy eating by buying local and eating local.
The mission
state. Those were the words of Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Osbert de Souza, as he advised the Skills Training Empowerment Program STEP community enhancement workers to take pride in the work they are doing in their communities by setting a higher standard. Permanent Secretary de Souza has direct responsibility for the STEP program. He made the remarks last Thursday, April 4th, at the opening of a soft skills training session on conflict management for community enhancement teams. Facilitating the conflict management sessions of the soft skills training is Dr. Niels Chaitan, who is an international social skills consultant and crime reduction specialist and president of Motive Aid for Change International. Mr. de Souza informed the community enhancement workers that more topics in the area of soft skills will be offered to them, including money management, which will be facilitated by officials from the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank. The next soft skills training session, which will be organized for STEP community enhancement workers, will be held this coming Thursday, April 11th at the St. Paul's Community Center, St. Kitts. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.bonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Bon Radio or our Bon Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next with Miss Anika Ferguson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. Haiti President Jovenel Moïse has tapped a longtime government bureaucrat who once served as a courier in the public administration before rising to the job of culture minister to lead his third government in 2 years. Acting Prime Minister Jean-Michel Lapin, who was promoted to the number 2 job last month after lawmakers in the lower chamber of deputies fired Prime Minister Jean-Henri Séant after only 6 months, was announced by Moïse on Tuesday in an early morning tweet before leaving Port-au-Prince for Panama. Lapin will now spend the next days forming his government before going in front of the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate to be ratified with a vote on his political program. After Haiti's constitution, Lapin is technically prime minister in charge of running the day-to-day affairs of the financially struggling and crisis-laden country. But Parliament can still reject his nomination, as it did in 2016 after interim President José Léamy Prouvier nominated U.S.-educated economist Fritz Jean as prime minister by voting down his political program. In an interview with the Miami Herald last month, Moise said he was in search of a prime minister who wasn't divisive, who could swim between the different political factions and had good relations with the international community. Out of Venezuela, Venezuela removed 8 tons of gold from the central bank's vaults last week, and the cash-strapped socialist state is expected to sell the bullion abroad as it seeks to raise hard currency in the face of U.S. sanctions, a lawmaker and one government source said. With sanctions imposed by Washington choking off revenues from exports by state oil company PDVSA, President Nicolas Maduro's increasingly isolated administration has turned to sales of Venezuela's substantial gold reserves as one of the only sources of foreign currency. The government source said the central bank's reserves had fallen by 30 tons since the start of the year before U.S. President Donald Trump tightened sanctions, leaving the bank with around 100 tons in its vaults, worth more than $4 billion. At that rate of decline, the central bank's reserves would nearly disappear by the end of the year, leaving Maduro's government struggling to pay for imports of basic goods. Neither Venezuela's central bank nor its information ministry responded to requests for comment. Out of Jamaica, 5 people were shot, 2 fatally, on Tower Avenue in Olympic Gardens, St. Andrew on Monday evening. Relatives of the deceased have identified them as Samuel Johnson and Stephen White. According to Observer Online, the 2 men were among other people standing along the roadway at about 7 p.m. when 2 gunmen alighted from a motor car and fired multiple shots. The 5 wounded people were taken to the hospital where Johnson and White succumbed to their injuries. Finally, out of Antigua and Barbuda, President of Qualadi Caiso Collaborative, the government body for Calypso, Eugene Casiba Silcott, has rejected criticisms by Prime Minister Gaston Brown, who said local calypsos are too political to be an international brand. Silcott said Calypso has always been aimed at speaking about social and political issues within society. Prime Minister Brown's comments were made in the face of public criticism over his decision to appoint the Britain-based Cane family as cultural ambassadors of Antigua and Barbuda. The designation allows the young family members who play in an orchestra to carry Antigua and Barbuda diplomatic passports. Many Antiguans and Barbudas have argued that the Cane Masons were a relatively unknown family to this country, which has many calypso artistes, such as Queen Thalia, who are more deserving of such recognition and be largely overlooked. Brown said calypso in the country remains underdeveloped as many artists remain too focused on domestic affairs and politics. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world.
Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. President Donald Trump has threatened to impose tariffs on $11 billion worth of European Union imports in response to EU subsidies from the European plane maker Airbus. On Twitter, President Trump said the EU has taken advantage of the US for many years. The BBC's economic correspondent Andrew Walker reports.
The European Union and the United States have both successfully argued in the World Trade Organization that the other provides illegal financial support to the big civil aircraft makers, Airbus in Europe and Boeing in the United States. The US was waiting for a ruling on how much damage has been done before imposing retaliatory tariffs. President Trump's tweets suggest the possibility that his administration might go ahead with its plans and not wait for the WTO to decide whether $11 billion worth of EU goods is the right amount to subject to tariffs.
A teenager in Bangladesh is in a critical condition after she was set on fire in an apparent revenge attack. The girl had accused the principal of her religious school of sexually assaulting her. The BBC South Asia editor Jill McGivern reports.
2 weeks ago, the teenager and her family filed a sexual assault case against her school principal. Her allegation divided the school's community. On Saturday, she went back to sit major exams. She says several young women in burqas took her onto the roof and told her to withdraw the allegation. When she refused, they doused her in kerosene and set her on fire. Case has caused fresh debate about the high levels of violence against women in Bangladesh and the lack of protection for those who speak out.
Israel is holding its most closely fought general election in years. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, leader of the right-wing Likud party, is seeking a fifth term in office, but he is facing corruption allegations and a strong challenge from former military chief Benny Gantz, head of the centrist Blue and White Alliance. Pre-election polls suggest the two main contenders were neck and neck and that they would need to rely on smaller parties to form a governing coalition. Negotiations are expected to start soon after polls close. Finally, Algerian police have used water cannon to disperse protesters demonstrating against Ben Salah's appointment as interim president. Mr. Ben Salah, the Speaker of Parliament's upper house, succeeds President Bouteflika, who resigned last week following weeks of peaceful demonstrations. But many want more radical change. Mr. Ben Salah, who will be in power until a presidential election, pledged to work in the interest of the people. He is due to be in office for 90 days. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Most of us spend the better part of each weekday at the workplace. So why not make your office environment the kind of setting that helps you function at your personal best by outfitting it with top quality furniture, high-end photocopiers, printers, versatile office supplies, and the latest technology. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at the TDC Business Center are happy to provide you with personalized service to help you create an office space that's the total package. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back, another sports in detail. In basketball, Kentavious Caldwell Pope scored 32 points and the short-handed Los Angeles Lakers snapped Utah's 7-game winning streak with a 113-109 victory Sunday night over the playoff-bound Jazz. The Lakers, beset by injuries all season, dressed only 10 players and played 8. Caldwell Pope, one of 5 Lakers in double figures, scored 18 points during the fourth quarter as Los Angeles rallied for its second consecutive win. JaVale McGee added 22 points and Alex Caruso added 18 points and 11 assists. It was a big loss for the Jazz, who fell 2 games behind Portland for the 4th seed in the Western Conference and home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Rudy Gobert led Utah with 21 points and 15 rebounds, and Donovan Mitchell scored 19. In cricket, Australia batsman David Warner made his 4th score over 65 to extend his lead as the Indian Premier League's top run scorer. The Sunrisers' Hyderabad opener hit 70 not out in a defeat to Kings 11 Punjab. Australia are this week expected to name their preliminary squad for the 2019 World Cup, which begins on 30th May. Warner previously said he was resigned to not playing for Australia again after being banned for his part in a ball tampering scandal. The 32-year-old and former captain Steve Smith were both banned from international cricket for 12 months for their roles in the incident in South Africa in March 2018. Warner, who has not played international cricket since then, has previously made scores of 85, 69, 100 not out, 10 and 15 for Sunrisers Hyderabad. Smith scored his first half-century of the IPL on Saturday, hitting an unbeaten 73 from 59 balls for Rajasthan Royals. Both players missed last year's IPL because of their bans. In athletics, 1997 World 200 meters champion Ato Boldon believes that the days of the World Under-20 4x100 meter record, 43.27 seconds, are numbered. The Trinidad and Tobago sprint great sees Ashanti Moore, double World Under-20 champion Brianna Williams, and Kivona Davis as the core of a Jamaican team that could force the record keepers into a rewrite. Davis and Moore, who both missed last weekend's Carifta trials, and Williams could join forces in July at the Pan American Junior Championships. With that trio running on one team, Boldon feels Jamaica could beat the World Junior 4x100 meters mark set by Germany in 2017. Moreover, he's enthralled with the Jamaica prospects in the women's sprint. Finally, in cricket, hosts St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada will battle for title honors in the Windward Islands Senior Men's Two-Day Cricket Tournament when the final round bowls off today from 10 a.m. at the Park Hill playing field. Grenada, though, is in pole position, having secured an outright win and a first innings triumph, while St. Vincent and the Grenadines has two first innings honors. St. Vincent and the Grenadines took first innings over St. Lucia at the Park Hill playing field. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Low moisture levels in the atmosphere over the region will continue to restrict shower activity across the islands. Weather tonight mostly fair. Winds east-southeast at 19 to 31 kilometers per hour or 10 to 17 knots. Seas 1.2 to 1.5 meters or 4 to 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow is at 5:59 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Tuesday, 9th April 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Prime Minister Harris holds bilateral meetings with foreign diplomats, and Nivision students receive Ross University School of Veterinary Medicine scholarships. Regionally, acting Haiti Prime Minister tapped for permanent post, country's third in 2 years. Internationally, President Donald Trump threatening to impose tariffs on EU goods. And in sports, strong fourth quarter propels the Lakers past Jazz 113 to 109. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, along with Anika Ferguson, wishing you a pleasant evening.